Kids. Roman, you stay in Romy. I don't know. Come over here.
Okay.
And Cam, you okay.
I'm here.
And you just open. Just stay for a minute.
It's always been hard for me to slide it damn thing. Okay.
Great. Everybody here?
Why don't we? Yeah, that's a good idea. Oh no, I'm too oiled up.
I was here with an army of kids. Now they're abandoning me. When I came here for Apocalypse Now, I had Sophia on my shoulder. She was 5.
All right, so let's start by a quick introduction of everybody here at the table. First of all, thanks for doing here. Thanks for being here with us today. We have at the end of the table Mihai Malimar Jr., the director of photography. Chris McLaughlin, the editor. John Voight. Talia Scher. Giancarlo Esposito. Roman Coppola. We're going to jab the gentleman in the middle and come right here next to me, Lawrence Fishburne. Aubrey Plaza. Nathalie Emmanuel. Adam Driver. And Monsieur le réalisateur Francis Ford Coppola. Monsieur Coppola, if you don't mind, I'm going to start with you. And very simply, it's a crazy project. I mean, 40 years in the making. It was very Dantesque to do this movie. It was crazy. You took a lot of risk. And yesterday, 10 minutes of standing ovation. Everybody went crazy in the room. I wonder very simply, what was the feeling? What came in your mind when people were clapping and standing for your movie, monsieur?
Well, you become filled with relief and joy. What is a combination of relief and joy? It's not an emotion I can give you in a word, but it was a crowning joy of my God, after all these years of having an idea and building it over different time and abandoning it and then saying, no, I shouldn't abandon it. But it was a beautiful feeling. Thank you for that.
And in your speech, right at the end of this, you talked about hope, speranza, as you said. I wonder, it's a question for all the crew members here. If this feeling of hope was, you can felt it on set, or you can felt it in the making of it, you can feel this hope while you were making the movie.
You know, it's funny, I left the movie, I watched the movie for the first time. I don't know if anyone else in the cast had seen it before or not. I had missed the screening. And I hearkened back to making the film and Francis speaking to me in our initial conversation about the history behind the film. And then I started to feel like, and he explained to me what my character represented, and that's the old guard, the old school, and I started to realize that's an old way of thinking. And as I walked myself through the movie in my dreams last night, after having not been able to get it out of my craw, I realized that the genius of what Francis does is allows me to be a channel and to channel what he's shared with me in terms of information. And you asked to specifically address your question, there was a feeling of hope, because I think in the way film is supposed to inspire us, It is also supposed intellectually and also emotionally. It is also supposed to take risks. So then we don't know what's going to happen. And so on set, I didn't know what was going to happen because every day Francis allowed us to be free, but then gave us a directive. And I went, where is he going? Is there hope in this for me and my character? I might not be the character that holds the hope. But toward the end of the movie last night, I came to tears because all of a sudden I got it. I'm not supposed to know everything. I'm not supposed to know all the answers, and neither is Francis. But he's open enough to allow his channel to figure it out with all of us. And isn't that the genius? When we don't understand something, there are parts of the movie I go, oh, I don't really quite understand that, but I'm still thinking about it. It's supposed to inspire us to a new way of thinking. And in the end, that inspiration is supposed to allow us to have hope for our world. And believe me, I do because of you. Whoa.
Anyone else on this subject? Okay, so we're going to start with the question. I see Jazz in the first.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Chaz Ebert from the United States. And Monsieur Coppola and Roman, first of all, I'd like to offer my deepest condolences on the passing of Eleanor. I admired her greatly. And she was admired by a lot of women. I just want you to know that. My question for you is this. Your film had so many ideas about sociology, politics, medicine, science fiction, the future, physics. Who do you think in our society today has those kind of ideas? Who could build a megalopolis like that you envisioned, that Adam Driver envisioned in the movie? Do you see hope? I'm going to ask specifically about the United States. I hope that's okay. But do you see anyone with those kind of ideas and vision that you have in the movie? And that could be for anyone to answer. Thank you.
Well, I'll venture one little thought, which is, of course, when years ago I said I want to do a Roman epic but set in modern America, a lot of people said, well, why? And I would say, well, because America was founded on the ideas of the Roman Republic. We didn't want a king. Rome didn't want a king, so they invented a new form of government called the Republic, with the Senate and with Roman law and with all of the things which we embrace. We even built our cities to look like Rome. If you remember the great building they tore down, it was based on the Caracalla. It was Penn Station, which they destroyed, which is insane. So my feeling was that that to do a Roman epic set in modern America, but I had no idea that the politics of today would make that so relevant, because what's happening in America, in our republic, in our democracy, is exactly how Rome lost their republic thousands of years ago. So it's a real, and you even see now in articles and in Saturday Night Live, the parallel between modern America and Rome. So our politics has taken us to the point where we might lose our republic. And so it's not people who have become politicians who are going to be the answer. I feel it's the artists of America, because artists, the role of the artist is to illuminate contemporary life, to shine light on it, to be the headlights. And so to make art that does not illuminate contemporary art is like making a hamburger that you eat but has no nutrition in it, which is also what's going on. So my dream, my hope is that it's the artists of our country who are going to, in their work, shine light on what's going on and allow the people to see it, because you can't act on it if you can't see it. And I once asked Joseph Papp how he chose projects, and he said to me something I've never forgotten. He said, I choose projects that illuminate contemporary life. And that's what I think all artists should do.
Bravo.
Yes.
We got a question right here.
Hi, good morning. This is Marc Garriga from Catalonia Radio in Barcelona. Mr. Coppola, it's obvious that in your film there's hope, but how afraid you are about our future, and what do you scare you the most? Maybe that men like Donald Trump are in charge? Thank you.
Well, men like Donald Trump are not at the moment in charge, but there is a trend happening in the world, and I don't want to monopolize this. Other people, anyone who has a, but you know, there is a trend happening towards the more neo-right, even fascist tradition, which is frightening because there are, you know, anyone who was alive during World War II saw the horrors that took place, and we don't want a repeat of that. So again, you know, I think it's the role of the artist of films to shine light on what's happening in the world. Maybe, John, you have different political opinions than you know. One of the things about if I may say, one of the things about our wonderful cast is that they reflect all sorts of political ideas. This is not just one notion. How do you feel about the future? How can we make a beautiful world? I know you have children and grandchildren. How can we make a beautiful world for the children?
Well, first of all, I think that your longing to contribute to that has created this film. That's what your focus is to make a better world for the, where are we going? And I think we're all at this moment asking that question of ourselves. Where are we going and what can we do? You know, I'm a little older now. Some of you may have noticed that. And of course, I have a limited amount of time, and I think to myself, what can I do to encourage us toward a better world to protect these kids? I feel that's exactly what I'm doing. It's in my head every second of the day to see what can we do to make this world better. And I know it's possible. I agree with this film, Francis' vision that says human beings are capable of solving every problem we get ourselves into. We can do it. That's what the last moments of the film with Adam beautifully saying it. You know, we can do it. We must bond together. We must help each other. We must listen to each other. And we must take this on and make a better world, because we've been through a lot. You know, we've been through quite a lot. We have experience. We know many things. So we have to do our best. And we have to do our best to appreciate especially those people who step out and attempt to show us the way a little bit. I saw the film for the first time. I was deeply moved by it. I was deeply moved because I saw from even the beginnings, I was aware of this film when Francis was working on it 25 years ago. And I saw in the work of it that he had this vision. It's a vision that has bothered him to express. He had to do it. He took every risk to do it. He assembled brave people, really. Brave, these actors are brave actors. They're very intelligent, they're very talented, they're experienced, but they're brave too. And they took this on. They said, I'm with you, Francis. I'll go on this adventure with you. And we all threw in. And then what we had in the room was Francis with a tie and, you know, nice jacket, sitting there every day, watching us, encouraging us, schooling us a little bit, worrying through things, to bring forth this vision. There was another person in the room. Who was it? It's Francis's vision. And I saw it from the beginning, in the little details of the film. That's why I was so moved. I saw it complete. It was magnificent last night to see all of the things that were, all the things he was driven by coming forth. And I don't know what he said to Anna, but I hope it was a kind thing.
No, it's true. He was one of the earliest actors who said, "You have to make this." That's the first thing you told me in L.A. when I showed it to you.
Yeah.
He was, and politically, we're not in the same world.
Yeah.
So there is different opinions here, definitely.
Adam, Aubrey, Natalie, when Mr. Coppola started to have this vision, you guys were not even born or very, very little. How is it to get inside the mind, to get inside the vision, to get inside the imagination of an author who had this idea for such a long time? That's for you guys.
It was for us?
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's an experience that I feel will never happen again and has never happened to me before. And it was an incredibly, it was challenging at times, you know, to sort of walk towards my character because I was trying to see her in the way that Francis had envisioned, and like, you know, there was a journey to that, and I came up against myself a lot as a person, as an actress, and I think it almost felt like we are like all playing different instruments of an orchestra, and we had to have our conductor tell us when to, you know, be louder, go quieter, faster, slower, and so I think, you know, coming into that experience was just like a brand new thing for me, and I felt, yeah, you had to surrender to it, and Francis kind of led the way, and we followed. So.
Yeah, for me it was a dream come true because Francis really likes actors, and his method for me, or my takeaway was that he likes to inspire actors, and he's very playful, and he trusts the people that he's cast. So getting into his mind was kind of a trust fall, you know, I think for both of us. But I think there was a lot of trust between all of us, and we were allowed to play, and we all kind of, you know, I had very specific things that I wanted. And I tried very hard to get them. It didn't work out for me, but I tried very hard. And I think, yeah, the script for me is very dreamlike, and I felt that the process really almost reflected that in a way. We started off with these rehearsals that whole week of rehearsals felt like a dream. It was really fun and playful, and we felt safe to kind of explore the script and the characters and all the ideas. So I think it was just really about the environment he created that made it possible.
I keep thinking about the one piece, you know, when we make film, I think sometimes we think it's just about all of us actors being in front of a camera making a film. But the brilliant part of trusting the visionary who's making the film is that's only one piece of it. And then all those pieces, all those things that you were asked to do, and I had a lot of questions too, and wanted to, as I said to Francis over and over, I just want to be in service to you. But part of that service is to be patient, because then Francis takes this movie away and makes the movie in the editing room. All the things that I couldn't see, even that he alluded to, and I'd have to trust, oh, he's really going to do that? Then he creates that. He creates this opus in his visionary way through trying things over and over again, taking things out, reordering them, making the story and the vision complete in what he's seen. There are some of us at this table who did a reading of this, was it 37 years ago, Fish?
Yep.
And I remember it. Because I was married then, and my ex-wife was with me, and she's still a dear friend, but is not with me here, and so I remember it then as being something I couldn't wrap my head around. You asked a question about all the years previous to actors who may not have been very young when Francis conceived this, and then reading it again all these years later, it hit me differently. because I'm more involved in what our society is trying to be now. I have 4 daughters now. I'm thinking about the world for them. So I reminded myself that, wow, to be a complete visionary and not to have all the answers, but to go into that dark room as a filmmaker myself and be editing, the film in a way tells you what it is. Now, I don't know if this film told Francis what it is, because all of these pieces were so intricately complicated. And when Francis says, envision that that's going to be a moving walkway, and envision that these plants are going to be growing all around you, it allows your imagination to soar. And isn't that what film's about? Like all the pieces that we see and feel, it's not only a thought form, it is also to be feeling something, and to not completely to be intellectual while you're going through the process. So it's just a reminder that it's a complete kind of entity that lives and breathes all on its own and is created.
I'd like to say one thing, just very briefly, I'll say it. I'm sitting in the center, so it's like somehow I'm the main guy. This movie was a collaboration between everyone here, but I don't mean like a collaboration. It was really a collaboration. They made the movie, we made it together. I didn't make the film, because when you make a film like this, you don't know how to do it, let's face it. It wasn't a certain movie I said, oh, it'll be like that. So the movie makes itself, and everyone here is a true collaborator, not just on the acting of their role, but on the editing of it, everything. We did it together. I was a theater director before I became a film director, and I only know how to work with actors the way you work in theater, where you have an opportunity to play and rehearse and do crazy things. That's the way we made the film. Adam did a beautiful performance, but he also was very helpful in the editing of the film, of deciding what should be in the film and what should be out of the film. Brilliant suggestions, and everyone here contributed more than just their part. They made the film with me. They are co-collaborators. They ought to say directed by everybody here, in truth. I know it sounds like a nice thing to say, but it's really true. These are my collaborators.
I'm sorry, Adam, but did you really say, Mr. Coppola? Nah, not this scene.
Yeah. And great editorial ideas really great. Were very helpful. Editor, is that true?
Yes.
It's so everyone here made this film together as one ensemble.
I guess it's a good way of answering your question earlier about the difference of, I guess the assumption would be that you think of something for 40 years and then you go in and execute because you've been thinking about it for 40 years. But it's the total opposite of that, and it speaks to Francis's generosity. And I was going to say, make that point too, and also having a theater background, you have to be very generous and open to being wrong, and have to have, that's a very generous act, and that's what it was like on set. It felt like experimental theater, and that's what made it feel rebellious and exciting, and I think it's reflected in the film. I don't think that there'll be something that imaginative on that scale, again, I do think it's a one-of-a-kind thing that will be dissected. I've seen it a lot of times, and last night, it really moved me, and I saw it in a different way than I had, before, and I think it'll just get richer and richer.
Historically, if you ask what job in the movies has the greatest success in making directors, you might think editors, you might think screenwriters, but by far, in the entire history of cinema, actors make the best directors, because they understand the two really essential parts of movies as acting and writing. And acting is something it takes a lot of time to learn about. So all the great directors, even in the silent era, they used to be actors. And that's what I have. I had a team of, and by the way, everyone call me Francis. Don't call me Mr. Coppola.
D'accord.
The kids call me Uncle Francie, but that first name basis is how we made the picture. Is no Mr. Coppola stuff. Theater, you always call the director by their first name.
All right, so we got a question over there.
Hi, question to Francis. Rodrigo Fonseca from Correio da Manhã, Brazil. Each film of yours had amazing soundtracks, and this is the case. I would like you to tell a few words about the music of the film Osvaldo Golijov.
Is Osvaldo here?
No.
Well, unfortunately, we had such a wonderful show of cast. I mean, it's such. Normally in Cannes, 2 or 3 actors come, but everyone was part of it, and I'm so happy that they all came. But Osvaldo should be here. He is a wonderful composer. He's a classical composer, a very creative person, and he had a lot to do with not just the music, but the sound. If you notice, this is a movie about time in some ways, so there's a lot of rhythm in the musical score done by both Osvaldo and Cam and our editorial sound team. But I'm the child of a musician. My father was a classical musician, so I'm very. As a kid, I was very aware. I was taken to see operas when I was a little child and what have you. So, of course, the music and soundtrack is very important to me, and that was done by wonderful collaboration. Osvaldo Golijov, which unfortunately is not here, he should really be on this panel with us. The funny thing is this panel should be the entire group who made the film, which should be a lot of people.
We got a question in the second row. Miss Francis, would you mind moving your mic next to you?
I'm sorry.
Thank you so much. Gentlemen.
Hello there, my name is Dariusz Tabatabai from Netzwerk.de Germany, and first of all, congrats on finally making this passion project come true. I think this is a great moment for every movie fan, and I would like to know, Francis, because you keep revisiting your body of work, having new edited versions of it, and also this project, you keep working on it since the 80s. I would like to know, is this a movie where you think in maybe a few years' time you might revisit it, or do you think this passion project should be untouched from now on?
Just say the question part, that last sentence.
Sorry, do you think you might revisit this movie in a few years' time and maybe do a newly edited version of it, or is this the final product?
Do you think that you will revisit the project in the future, or you keep it as it is, as your passion project?
Well, the reason I often re-edit my films is because I own them. I mean, if you ask why do I own Apocalypse Now, the answer is no one wanted it. and so when you own a movie, you tend to think, oh, I understand it better. I would never re-edit The Conversation because I like the way it is. I have edited I never re-edited The Godfather, although there is a scene I might add someday. So, you don't know. The story, the interesting story is, we are here in France. When Catherine de' Medici married the King of France, she brought with her Leonardo da Vinci, who came with 40 mules and all his apprentices and work. But he brought one painting because he wasn't quite finished with it. And of course, that painting was the Mona Lisa, which when he finished, he gave as a gift to the King of France for being his host. So I'll tell you, I'll be here in 20 years, I think. And if there's a way I can make the film a little better, I will try. But I know that I'm done with it because I've already started writing another film, and that's a good sign that I'm finished.
We get to the back of the room, the lady over there.
Yes. Hi, I'm Maria from Spain. First of all, thank you for doing this because, it's a great experience to just go through any of your movies. The movies right now follow a very rigid structure because the studios wants to make money. And in this formula atmosphere, you took so many risks with this movie. What fears have you to encounter inside and from outside in order to be true to yourself, to be a true artist to yourself?
The question is?
A lot of formulas movies now, and the question, what fear did you have to encounter in order to keep your vision the way you want it to be?
Well, I knew the film was not like other films that are out. I couldn't say, well, let's make it more like such and such because I didn't have the example. but it's how I felt the film should be, and since I was paying for it, I thought I was entitled to. Roman, you answer it for me. My son is my collaborator.
I guess the question is whether you had fear to overcome, and it seemed like you were fearless.
Is it?
Yeah, you were on the precipice of the building, and you looked over, and it didn't.
You know, in the end, there's so many people, when they die, they say, oh, I wish I had done this, I wish I had done that. But when I die, I'm going to say, I got to do this, and I got to see my daughter win an Oscar, and I got to make wine, and I got to make every movie I wanted to make, and I'm going to be so busy thinking of all the things that I got to do that when I die, I won't notice it.
Okay, Matt.
Hi, Matt Donnelly from Variety. This is for Francis. So you've made this incredibly ambitious $120 million movie. Yesterday got a global commitment from IMAX, but the film has yet to secure U.S. distribution. What does that tell you about the modern state of Hollywood, and what do you think of streaming as a release option?
Well, you know, streaming is really what we used to call home video. I don't know why they call it streaming. It used to be DVDs, it used to be home video, now it's called streaming. You know, by the way, who invented streaming? Major League Baseball, they did it. Wow. And they sold it as BAM at any rate. You know, my feeling is that my love is to see, like theater thousands of years ago, a beautiful movie in a large theater with 600, 700, 800 people, and become one with them as an audience, because that's what happens in both theater and in cinema. So, you know, I fear that the film industry has become more a matter of people being hired to meet their debt obligations, because the studios are in great debt. And the job is not so much to make good movies, the job is to make sure that they pay their debt obligations. And obviously, new companies like Amazon and Apple and Microsoft, they have plenty of money. So it might be that the studios that we knew for so long, some wonderful ones, are not to be here in the future anymore. I don't know.
Okay, we have time for one more question, so sir.
Yeah. So many people, wonderful.
I'm Harlan Jacobson. I'm with WBGO Radio, which broadcasts to the New York metropolitan market. I know you know us, Giancarlo. You're a big fan of the station and the station of you. From Newark, New Jersey. And I want to follow up Matt's question a little bit on the money side of things with a sort of a two-part related question. One, since it's such a New York film, and you're kind of a New York guy, what was it that the Georgia Film Commission was able to do for you that New York couldn't in attracting you to film there? And then secondarily, as we stand here today, after the IMAX deal, et cetera, where are you at risk in your own personal fortune in investing in this project so far?
Well, there's two questions. The first is, why didn't we make it in New York? And the answer is that the New York subsidy, that the way they've set it up, is not anywhere near as attractive, because you're required to do certain things through New York studios and institutions which are way overpriced. So in a sense, they give you money, but they take it back. And no one compares to Georgia's subsidy, which is really generous, because they allow you to include the above-the-line cost, like the cost of the actors and the cost of the expensive things, which Georgia allows you to do. This question of subsidies is complicated, but the bottom line is that, without a doubt, Georgia is the most generous. So that said, the second part of the question was?
How are you with, where are you now with risking your own money on the film?
I don't care. I never cared about money. You know, one of the reasons why I had the line of credit that I did to be able to do this is because in 2008, during the great, you remember that financial crisis around 2008, I borrowed in those days $20 million to take a winery and build a winery that children could do something when their parents were drinking the wine. So I built a winery like Tivoli Garden in the great, wonderful Denmark with swimming pools and games, because I figured, well, if the kids could go, then the grandparents would go, because they want to watch. And this absurd risk of $20 million created a place that now every winery tried to duplicate, in which people go and spend all day. And so I just took the money from that I wouldn't have had had I not taken the risk, and I put the risk in the movie. So I have no problems with the financial. Also, another thing, my children, without exception, Sophia, Roman, and my granddaughter Gia, they have wonderful careers without a fortune. They don't need a fortune. So no matter what happens, aside from the great winery Inglenook, which we still own in the family, we're fine. It doesn't matter. You know, all of you, the money doesn't matter. What's important are friends. Because a friend will never let you down. Money may evaporate.
Finish on something else.
I wish there could be a couple more questions to some
we're going to have a couple more.
But they're great people here. I mean, Mihai, Aubrey,
no pressure, but last one.
Fishburne. These are great collaborators.
I'm Jennifer Quinn from Brazilian publication Veja, and my question is to Francis. So there is so much about time, which is in many ways a cinema. So I'd like to ask if your concept of time has changed over so many decades of filmmaking.
Francis, can I answer this for you?
Today.
Aye.
My longest colleague here as actor.
Yeah.
Thank you.
In Apocalypse Now.
Thank you. So I'm glad you asked the question about time, because I was thinking about this. Francis and I have been working together since 1976, when I was 14 years old. Roman and I have known each other since we were boys. We kind of grow up together. Time. One of the things I've always loved about Francis is he's always talked about stopping time. Even before he was talking about the movie, he would say, I can stop time. I can stop time. I'll show you. I used to sit over here, having conversations with Eleanor about that. And it's so wonderful to see it on the screen, the way it's depicted in this great film that we saw last night. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud to be a collaborator with you. I'm so proud of all of us. This film is magical. It's absolutely magical. Time is really important, and it's important how we choose to use our time. And I think part of the message of the film is that we should really take the time to think about how much time we have left.
Well,
Here together.
Natalie tells Adam, he says, you taught me all artists control time. Painters freeze it, dancers move in space with it. Goethe said, architecture is frozen music. So art is about controlling time.
Well,
Unfortunately,
this is all the time we have. Mesdames et messieurs.
Someone please ask my sister Talia. Where is Talia?
Oh, Talia.
So wonderful. So please ask her a question. She's known me even more longer than Larry.
Yes.
Can I just...
Well, ask him more questions.
Talia, I'm right here. What Lawrence just said about time. Did you see that in your brother all over the years? Did you see that in him, in his work, and in his life?
You know, right now, at this moment in time, it's very easy to go backwards. Backwards is wonderful. It's comfortable. You know who you hate. Going forward, to go forward is unknown and spiritual and extraordinary. Every day with my brother.
The microphone.
Oh, every day with my brother, he made you go forward. Go forward, take a risk. He is creative courage. He is this person. He is a visionary. And you were a visionary when you were 9. I have to tell you, you were a visionary when you were 9 years old.
I was paralyzed.
That's true. Francis had polio, and at 9, and during that period in time, people weren't walking then, and Francis decided he was going to walk. That was every day for 1 year. That was an act of courage. But every day working with these great actors, you made us come together, and it's extraordinary. You know, I'm so proud to be an actor with all these actors. You know, sometimes you don't know why. It's so tough. It's so hard to get a job. And then you come on a set with Francis and you work with these great actors. I mean, you're changed. It is the future. You do go forward. When you're with Francis, you go forward. It's tough to do.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Monsieur Francis, thank you very much.